So this isn't a wham, bam, thank you. It's going to increase like crazy from one burn. It takes a while before things start kicking in. And that's not only on Junegrass, it's on all these things. One burn generally doesn't do anything. Little blue stem, significant increases in the fall and winter burning. On the upland sides, no change over time. Spring burning. On the lowland sides, no change in time from fall and winter burning, but a significant decline from spring burning. So this is one of these things, you get a different reaction from the plants depending upon whether it's an upland side or lowland side, because there was no change over time from spring burning on upland sides, but it was a decline under the lowland sides. Switchgrass increases significantly under all burning treatments. Kentucky bluegrass started out with some high amounts. Some of these watersheds were frequently burned. Started out with high amounts, and then for the fall and winter they fluctuate. Still have low amounts, but it's still there. Fall and winter burning, and the kicker here is it was in 08 before we could not find any detectable amount of Kentucky bluegrass in the spring burn plots. So it was still here. So this is one of these things, it takes a drop, but it still hangs on. And now we can say it's gone, after, but it took 15 years of doing it. So it's not like it's, some people have this impression, you make a wham bam, you get a burn, and you're going to get rid of Kentucky bluegrass. It takes a while.
And that's a C3, that's a cool season.
That's a cool season. Another cool season, this is our native cool season grass, and Prairie Junegrass is kind of cool. Because back when they did the alder spot study in 1926, they first set it up and did a plant composition on it, and Junegrass was the second most common grass cell in the uplands. This is basically an upland plant. It likes fall and winter burning. It does not like spring burning. The Zippo amount of Kentucky Junegrass. So all this means is that, okay, if you want Junegrass, you darn sure don't burn it in spring. You burn early to favor Junegrass. Sedges, cool season, increase, fall and winter burning, a gradual decline with very low levels in spring burn. So, cool season grasses and cool season sedges, they do not like spring burning. Western ragweed, generally considered a typical weed that people don't want. Fluctuations from year to year, no trend, no pattern. I love this graph because this shows the importance of long-term data. If you would send a grad student out in 04 and say, okay, do a 3-year study, do your PhD on ragweed, in fall and winter and spring burning. They'd go out there and sample in 04, 05, and 06, and they would come out and publish a paper and say, this is really great. That fall and winter burning significantly increases ragweed populations. If you went out and did that study in 94, 95, 96, 97, you did that study in 09, 10, 11, your conclusions would be there is no difference between ragweed populations depending upon when you burn. So what you have here is you have some good fluctuations, but it's being governed by precipitation patterns that are affected by whether it was burned in the fall or winter. It's not the burn itself, it's just interaction between precipitation patterns and the burning. Some years you can really get a good increase. Another plant you can get a good increase, and this is quite honestly, right here as well, all the forward population where we did forward biomass. Most of this was aster. If you look at aster, and it really loved fall and winter burning. Increased like crazy. And then in 09, it hit a population drop, just plummeted. And it hasn't recovered yet, but it will. I've got signs of it. It will recover. I don't know yet exactly what caused that population drop. But spring burning, almost Zippo amount of aster. And this, I only put up heath aster. Aromatic aster is the second most common aster on, and it is on the upland sites, same pattern. They do not like spring burning. Goldenrod, a lowland plant, increased significantly under fall, under spring and winter burning, no change over time under fall burning, but wide fluctuations from year to year. This is the cool one, legume, low growing legume, significant increase in fall and winter burning, significant increase in the spring burning, which is not as large of an increase. Annual forbs. Now, annual forb, if you look at the cover on them, they're so small it became meaningless. So what I put on here was the total number of species of annual forbs that are detected in the plots that I had. And on this is totally opposite of everything that they've ever taught. Highest annual forb populations in the spring burning watershed. They've always taught that's the way to knock out your annual forbs. And fall and winter had decent amounts of forbs. Now these annual forbs were not the typical type weeds. They were, although there was annual ragweed was one of them, snow in the mountain, those two could be considered weeds. The others were really small and basically inconspicuous. Flax was one, copperleaf, and several species of spurge that are mostly small, nobody ever notices. But the interesting point on this was that there are a lot of annual forbs in the spring burning watersheds, totally against what's normally taught. Okay, so how about annual grasses? The three most common annual grasses we have are all cool season annual grasses. Never once detected them in any of the watersheds. So burning at any time of the year knocks out these cool season annual grasses. Now, we did have a couple annual grasses that were warm season, but they were so minor, just at one or two now and then, that it never came up as being really significant. Okay, so a brief summary. You can affect plants by burning at different times of the year. And these are the plants we found that you can affect and manipulate. Big blue stem, you increase it by burning at any time of the year. Little blue stem, you increase it by burning in fall and winter. Indian grass, you increase it by burning in spring. Switchgrass, doesn't matter when you burn it. If you want to favor Junegrass, fall and winter. Sedges, fall and winter. Lespedeza, any time of the year. Goldenrod, burn fall and spring, and fall and winter. And for asters, and this is both Aster Ecology and Aster Ecology. Yeah, I know it's not Aster.
The sedges, that's just upland sedges that you use there.
No, well,
or did you use
the sedges I gave were for lowlands, but it's the same pattern was the same for uplands and lowlands. It's just different species of sedge. But the two most common sedges we have is medii and inops. Inops being the primary dominant upland sedge, and on the lowlands it's a couple of different other species, and I just clumped them. So, so it's sedges in general, all those sedges. So the bottom line is on species that decreased, the other side was species that increased in response to burning. Species that decreased, there was nothing. And the fall and winter burning, and the spring burning, we reduced little blue stem on the lowlands. We can reduce sedge populations, reduce Junegrass and Scribner's panicum, and also every other cool season grass, most of them so minor that wasn't worthy of individual analysis. But all your cool season grasses, wild rye, wedgescale, all those cool seasons are decreased in spring burning. Asters, both on Ecology and uplands. The others are so uncommon, you can't get a good handle on them, but they probably decrease. And then many minor forbs also decline, and these will include antennary pussy toes, western yellow, Krieger, which is dwarf dandelion. There's just a lot of minor species that will decline. They're subdominant species, but they decline under spring. So take home message on this. You can manipulate species by burning at different times of the year. But you don't get that manipulation coming from one burn. It takes repeated burning in order to start driving the system. Okay, now in the woodies. This is going to be applicable for later on today. Maybe. Maybe. Woodies, we started out in all watersheds about 4%. This is the number of this is number of species. So started out with 4 species of woodies, ended up with 3 or 4. Didn't knock out any woodies. And any of the burn trees. No significant change in the number of woodies. And if you look at the cumulative cover, started out about 6%, and there was a gradual decline 19 years later. In most of the burn treatments that we had, we knocked back some of the woody cover. Not much, but we started out with a low level. So we said, okay, it's not a fair to judge starting out at such a low level. 6% is still a decent amount of woody, but it's still relatively low. So wanted to compare it with the reversals that we started. This used to be 20A, it's now R1A. This used to be 1A, long-term annually burned, and now this is unburned. And you guys will probably know this quite well. But in 2001, we switched these watersheds on the fire reversal, started burning this one annually, started leaving this one unburned. We have two watersheds that we did this to. So these are the averages of both of those watersheds. We started out with average woody of almost 22% in the 2 reversal watersheds. This is just a comparison. This is just the same for the fall, winter, spring stuff. I just put this up to compare what it's like with the reversals. First burn, we knocked it back to about 16%, and then it held or actually increased to the 4th burn. And then it dropped down to 10% woody cover, and now pretty much maintained itself. This is 19 years. Well, this isn't 19 years here. This is only 14 years. And so what you could say, well, it's still shooting up at 11% woody cover, so it's still got a ways to go till it gets down to 6. And so you've got to configure just on this trajectory and probably take another 10 years at least. And then to get it down to this level, figure another 20 years. So in order to move this to this, you've got to figure another 30 years of annual burning. And we started out with, this wasn't that bad. 22% is a lot of woody, but it's not anything at all like we're going to see on the next slide. Or the slide after.
Yeah, if you don't have grass as fuel.
Oh, did I? Oh. Okay, so the bottom line on this is that once you get woodies, you don't get rid of them. Boy, it takes a long, long time. So the whole key is to prevent the establishing of woodies. You can't get rid of eastern red cedar, no matter when you burn. As long as you got grass under it, and you burn it at any time of the year, you're going to burn that sucker up. That's good. All other woodies, you're not going to affect. This is exception. I love this one. This is a honey locust. It's dead. This is an example of when fire killed the tree. Normally does not happen. But when you get a pack rat nest in there, it generates so much heat, the cambium level, complete everything is killed out. And it does not regrow. So you could put a pack rat nest in all your honey locust trees, and you could get rid of your honey locust that way. But that's the only way.